Hi. So this one is for Clemens. He was asking me about Enneagram 7 because he's working on that one. So Enneagram 7 have a pattern of fascinating and disarming others with pleasantness. Uh, they do not display fear, they do not display any negative emotion, and they only display the positive. They show themselves as happy, basically. Enneagram 7 core fear is fear of pain, basically. They are afraid of looking at pain into the face and of feeling pain. Therefore, they enact this pattern of refusal and rejection of pain. They look only at the positives of things and only at the positives of situations. They show, like I said, they show themselves happy despite not being happy. And they are very dependent from their work and their enjoyment, so their pastimes, their hobbies. They are constantly in motion, non-stop in motion. And they are also they are characterized by a form of narcissism. They are called the Epicurean, I think that's the word. Anyway, they are the Peter Pan of the Enneagram. How does it work? Narcissism is defined starting from a Greek myth, which is the myth of Narcissus. And I think all of you know about it, but anyway, it was this guy that was in love with his own image, and at some point fell into a pool of water and drowned because to try and kiss his own image. We all need value and a dignity. But when it becomes, when our value and our dignity become to us an extreme, like we are the best at everything and we feel we are the best at everything, then we have a problem. And that problem is called narcissism. In Helen Palmer, I found that the best explanation of Enneagram 7 narcissism is displayed in the in the Sons of the Flowers. I think that's the name. Hippies, anyway. In the 60s, we're talking about an idealistic visual view of society. We're talking about people that only see the positives of society. They live in a world where they basically portray in their head an image of a new topic, a utopic society. Since as we see in the society, in the hippies in the 60s, they passed from a radical individualism with this utopic view of society to narcissism. Basically, they go from simply hoping to find a way to build this idealistic society to actually running away from reality. And running away from reality, they run away from reality via this homemade psychology. And we find words, expressions rising from that movement, like wow, and it's good to be myself. It's good to be me, or it feels good to be me, or stuff like that. So basically, the core pattern here is running away from reality, running away from the negatives of reality. We have another Enneagram that goes in this direction and is Enneagram 9. But the difference between Enneagram 9 and Enneagram 7 is that Enneagram 9 is fully aware of the negatives of society. Enneagram 9 simply tries to find the best possible solution. Enneagram 9 actually in their inner world, when they're not projecting the positive image outside and they're actually within their head, they tend to look a lot to the negatives. Whereas Enneagram 7 really, really runs away from anything that has any potential of being negative. So life has, these are the guys that think that life has no end. We often hear about it in real life when we hear complaints from the elderly towards young people. There is a phase in everybody's life where we think we are immortal. We think nothing can happen to us. We think that we can do anything because anyway, nothing bad is gonna happen. That's basically the pattern of Enneagram 7 also in adulthood. They never stop thinking that they're immortal, and they never stop thinking that they can do anything. This leads, of course, to excesses. Very similar to Enneagram 8, like I said in the other video. This leads to extreme excesses like constantly seeking stimulation, constantly following amusement, constantly eating a lot. Sorry, I'm having issues with the webcam. Okay, so I was thinking the passion that is often attributed to Enneagram 7 is greed, literal greed, like greed in eating, greed in enjoyment, greed in going out, greed in everything they do, be it work or something amusing. They're always going to go for the excess. When choosing, hang on. They keep every option open. They always and constantly keep every option open. They do not want to narrow down, and they cannot narrow down. And that keeping every option open is a way to avoid pain and to avoid also boredom. Because if we keep every option open, we never choose, we never narrow down, we never really and truly leave, and therefore there's always the next possibility incoming. When they have to make a choice, instead of looking at the negatives, like if I go work there, I'm gonna have to drive for 60 minutes. Instead going there, I will have to drive for 30 minutes. But where I have to drive for 1 hour, I actually get paid an amount such that it allows me to do that, or whereas on the other side, I'm paid an amount that is actually a loss and stuff like that. They do not look at loss. They do not look at anything negative. They only keep into account the positive. Like for example, if I go work far away from home, I will not be able to attend to my mom at the hospital. That's something that an Enneagram 7 will never, ever even think of taking into account, because that is facing pain. That is something that is going to hinder their movement, and is going to block their movement forward. Therefore, they're never gonna look at that. I think I knew one of my friends when I was around 20 was an Enneagram 7. I remember her father was was in the hospital with a heart attack, and she booked a ticket to the U.S. She flew away and left her elderly mother to deal with her father's issues alone. And the doctors were not talking to the woman because she wasn't able to understand what they were talking about. So basically, this man was completely left alone. And when I tried to tell her that she was doing that, she started yelling like crazy, and she freaked out. She was completely unable to look at to look in the face the fact that her father needed her help. It was impossible for her. That was a negative side that she didn't want to see. So these people are children with a very, very extremely happy childhood. They have no single negative memory of their childhood. Everything in their childhood was perfect. Everything in their childhood was going the best possible way. And that's a defense mechanism to avoid pain. Usually, the mind triad, the head triad, is usually people that have had a very, very difficult childhood, probably even worse than than the other two triads. They had a very difficult childhood, and therefore their core pattern is revolving around pain. We've seen Enneagram 6 projecting things on others and fearing fear. We're going to see Enneagram 5 withdrawing from anything, even remotely reminding them of pain. And now we're seeing Enneagram 7 rejecting pain full force. Enneagram 7 stresses when it goes towards 1, meaning when they start being perfectionistic, when they start trying to implement on themselves and in their lives, in their everyday lives, that ideal of perfection or perfect society that we were talking about at the beginning, they start stressing. They instead relax and integrate towards 5. They become more focused and fascinated by life. Actually, the Enneagram 7 integrated would be your wise old man, basically. The idea of the old sage, of the ancient sage, your Yoda would be an Enneagram 7 integrated. So, guys, try to face your issues because you're going to be one of the most beautiful peeps in the Enneagram. What are Enneagram 7 health issues? Dizziness, constantly running and running and running and never stopping and having life constantly going on and moving to the next thing and keeping yourselves busy is going to make you dizzy. Because life becomes like a carousel. It never stops, and therefore the head is not going to take it in the long run. Movement. Since this movement is generated by fear and the defense mechanism of fear is block, Enneagram 7s tend to have problems at the muscles, articulations, and block in movement. Here I suggest, like I did in another video, to have a look to the fight or flight response and how the sympathetic system, nervous system works. Another issue that they can encounter is that of the breathing ways, and that's connected to greed, because greed is basically stuffing yourself with food. That's the first idea that we get from greed. And when you stuff yourself, you basically don't breathe well because your mouth is full. So that's what happens. They start having issues to the breathing ways. And of course, every consequential problem coming from excesses. If it's alcohol is more an Enneagram 8 thing. But anyway, any excess that the Enneagram 7 will welcome in their lives is going to have consequences, and those consequences are, of course, also health consequences. So this is everything I have for the moment about Enneagram 7. Hope it helped, and Clemens will forgive me that it took me so long to get to this point, but I wanted to make it right. So I will talk to you soon, and I will see you the next time. Bye.